because of the field we work in, I recognise that sometimes I know that my body's feeling tired. I think a lot of
And
people
you're a lightweight anyway.
Oh, and I'm a total lightweight as well. Welcome to a very special Christmas episode of the Wellness Breakdown. Rose and I are here with our mums and a little puppy to talk about our Christmas traditions and how we can help you guys manage the festive season.
So we all eat too much of the wrong stuff, and we all overindulge in hot whiskies and generally put far too much pressure on ourselves at Christmas. But we want to know if Christmas has always been like this, so we thought we'd bring in our mums who will talk about their, our Christmases growing up and also Christmas for them when they were little. So I hope you enjoy this special Christmas episode, and happy Christmas to you all as well.
We're very happy that Ancient and Brave is back as our season sponsor. They have an incredible range of collagen supplements, MCT oil, and nootropic blends. As well as nourishing your skin, hair, and nails, collagen has been associated with whole body health benefits, which may include supporting joints and muscles to gut health.
Eve and I are both fans of supplementing collagen, but not all collagen is created equal. Ancient and Brave's is beautifully pure, highly absorbable, and clinically researched. Also, very easy to take as part of your everyday ritual, as it's also odourless and tasteless. Perfect added to your morning coffee or daily cacao.
Consistency is key when taking supplements, and to get you started, Ancient and Brave is offering 20% off your first 3 orders when you subscribe with the code WELLNESS20.
Ancient and Brave are passionate about sustainability. They are a B Corp and a member of the powerful global initiative 1% for the Planet. So 1% of all sales go towards environmental causes that protect the planet. So buying their products means you're supporting the planet too.
Happy Christmas, everyone, and welcome to the podcast and our Christmas special. So Rose and I were talking about this and what we thought we could do, being that we've done the alcohol thing, we've done the Brussels sprouts thing. So what we've decided is we're going to rope our mums on. So we've got our mums onto the podcast, and we're going to talk around how they used to celebrate Christmas, what we were like when we were younger at Christmas time. And so we know it's going to be packed full of fun anecdotes and stories for you guys.
Hi, Mum.
Hello, darling. Happy Christmas, everybody.
We're really interested to find out how it's changed. Also, because from a food point of view, I want to know, because there seems to be so much food now. And when I was a kid, there didn't seem to be as much. And I'm sure that our mums will have an input about that, because it's just such a lot at the moment. It just gets more every year, I think. So I'd like to know about that. And any good stories, which I'm sure you have a few, and I'd quite like to hear about what Eve was like as a child, actually.
Yeah, well, I'm dying to know what you were like also, Rose. And as part of this special, obviously it being the Wellness Breakdown, we are going to offer some advice around kind of how to best navigate some of this stuff, like what not pressing the fuck it button, as Rose calls it, and not kind of going too crazy on the booze. Like, we all love a bit of a tipple, both of us, but just kind of navigating it a bit, and also some of the more, I guess, emotional aspects of it that I think we also discussed that can be quite triggering, quite challenging for a lot of people. So we're hoping to touch on all that stuff with, like I said, lots of fun and like stories to share. So do you want to go ahead and introduce your amazing mum, Rose? I know you've mentioned her a few times on the episodes. So
so this is my mum. This is Harriet. I would have to say that she's one of my biggest inspirations for being in the field that I'm in now. I don't know if you know that. I don't think I ever said that to you. But my grandmother...
I thought it was Mum, yes.
Yes, my grandmother, mum's mum, had a health food shop. And so I grew up around that, and I also grew up. Well, you are very alternative hair. She was around here the other day giving me batch flower remedies. So so I've grown up surrounded by alternative health and complementary health. So
always.
She balanced Jake's body energies. You've all met Jake. She balanced his body energies in the first meeting with him. She had him on the floor.
Amazing.
I'm surprised he stuck around actually after that.
I love it. This is my mum, Jane.
Hello.
As you can hear, she's got from the valleys. Well, actually, not specifically, is it, Mum?
No, at the bottom of the valley, where the valleys meet.
Yeah.
Get it right.
So I grew up in a pretty much predominantly Welsh, with a little bit of Polish influence household. My dad's half Polish, and my mum grew up on a farm. So a lot of we had a lot of home cooked meals when we were growing up. So like you, my inspiration into getting into nutrition was that despite the 1980s and all the kind of fluoro foods, we always had like a really like lovely home cooked dinners, and that was a really important part of us growing up. So for me, nutrition and good food has been something that's kind of been instilled since I was a really, really young age. So I'm really excited to have Mum on here and sharing some of her stories. How was your Christmas growing up, you guys? Like, tell us about that.
Well, we're quite traditional as well. We were always quite traditional, like turkey.
Oh yes, we were very traditional.
Very traditional.
And the day had a very traditional trend.
Yeah, so we would we'd always have Christmas lunch, not dinner. We'd do presents. Then people who wanted to go to church would go to church.
No, the wrong way around. You started the day with church. You started the morning by getting up so early you still had your eyes shut to put the damn turkey in.
Oh, you, not me. I think you're talking about me getting up early. What time?
Yes, you got up early because you had a rustle at the end of your bed because Father Christmas had come.
Yeah, so I would do my stocking.
Oh, they were awful.
Because I've got a twin brother too. So I have an older brother, a twin brother, and a younger brother. But me and my twin, we were terrible. We were. 2
o'clock, 3 o'clock. Oh, whoa! Christmas Day coming. And off they went.
Yeah, that when you were kids with the stockings, you're right.
Yeah. Yes. Did you do that?
Yeah, my brother was terrible for it, mind. He wouldn't even sleep, would he?
He was Mr. Christmas, wasn't he? He absolutely adored Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a very exciting time. It's terribly special. I mean, you see it now with all the children. They're so excited about it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's their time, isn't it? Christmas
it is really.
It's their time. Yeah.
Do you still spend Christmas together, you and you, Eve, and your mum and dad?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, always.
We've only ever had one Christmas apart, and that was when you went to Mexico. Yeah, but seeing you every Christmas day.
Yeah, pretty much every Christmas. And now I think it's important, isn't it, to make time for your family at that sort of time of year? Because for some people it can be quite an emotional time, you know.
Well, some people really hate it because they don't get on. I mean,
it works both ways. I mean, family are like fish; they go off after 3 days.
And if they can last that long together without an argument.
It's a brilliant expression.
It is. I like that. Yeah.
But it's a great stress. It's a huge emotional stress because whenever other time in the year are you all kept and cooped up together and supposed to get on. It's supposed to be happy. You're supposed to love one another.
Yes,
darling, I do love you very much, but other families, my God.
But in reality, it doesn't work out like that, does it? And of course, nowadays, where families are split, and then you've got stepchildren and dads or partners and extended families, it's even more difficult then, and dividing yourself between them.
Yeah, and the transporting from A to B to one parent to the other.
Yeah, because my mum and dad divorced when I was 9, and it was like literally we were on. We didn't do it on Christmas Day, like lay-bys, switching cars and going. It is complicated. I think for us it's easier because we at Christmas particularly thought it was great because we had 2 Christmases. So for us, we saw it as a good thing. But probably quite stressful for lots of parents. It's stressful for lots of families.
It's interesting to hear that because I think as a parent you worry that your child is being uprooted from a sort of cosy family home. But I didn't appreciate that you were just little greedy mongers. Oh, another Christmas whoopee.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really pleased.
So I suppose every cloud, they say.
Every cloud,
yes,
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And where do you guys spend Christmas then? Whereabouts will you be?
We're with Eve this year. She's cooking Christmas lunch.
First time I've ever done Christmas. I mean, I feel like the pressure's on.
Oh my God, Eve, that's so exciting. And what are you going to cook?
Well, to me, I think I've got away quite lightly. When I was speaking to one of my friends last night, she's got 14 people coming for Christmas Day and she's doing all the cooking. And I'm like, oh my God. So I've only got 3 and a puppy to take care of. So I feel like I've kind of got away lightly. So I think I'm going to do duck with obviously you've got to have crispy roast potatoes with the duck fat, maybe add a bit of goose fat in there. And then, what did we decide last night, Mum? Pumpkin puree.
Yeah, yes,
and
because of the
some-
colour, we thought.
Yeah.
And cabbage.
Cabbage and maybe some, obviously, Brussels sprouts. Rose. I mean, if I hadn't
do you know,
mentioned
I was
Brussels sprouts, I
waiting.
think Rose would have switched off the camera and stopped
Yeah.
the podcast immediately. But I am actually quite excited about doing it, and I'm going to make a version of a Christmas cake. Oh, this is where the nutritionist part comes out, because I actually did a Christmas cake recipe for a brand that I work with. It's a prebiotic brand, and it's really nice, and it's not laden with sugar. It's got things like dried figs and dates and lots of nuts in there. So we're going to have that.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Sounds very delicious.
What's
I'm
your
gonna have to-
Christmas cake?
My Christmas cake.
Yeah.
My Christmas cake's very traditional. It came with my original Kenwood mixer, which is now about 650 years old. And it's the original recipe that was in the book that came with that. It's deliciously easy and fruity and brown sugar butter and spices. And I obviously add more spices just to give a good flavour. But if you put lots of brandy in it too, that does it a treat.
Oh,
That
yes.
does the trick.
Yes. How far in advance did you make your cake?
Oh, usually in September.
Yes. Yeah,
And
the
then you
earlier the
tick
better,
the
isn't it?
box, done it, finished, and it was
Yes.
ripening under all the brandy. And then you added a little bit more brandy and
Oh, you feed
marzipan
it,
and
yes.
icing. You feed it and yourself.
Yes. Little one to me,
One
one
for
for the
you,
cake.
one for me. Yes.
So have you made it for this? Like, how are you guys together for Christmas this
We
year?
are, but we're having a treat.
We're actually going to, it's hilarious, we're going to my twins, and he's a headmaster in Cambridge, which if you knew my brother's history would
Oh,
make
wow.
you laugh. No, he's a great headmaster, actually, he's a great kid. But he lives in a terraced house, and he has got,
His dream. It's his dream.
No,
He just loves
it's
it.
just that it's him and his wife, and then his two boys are quite grown up now, so they're sort of in and out. But he's invited my 5, me and Mum and another brother, and 4 dogs. And we haven't quite asked how this is going to work, but I'm sure.
Well, don't ask any questions, Rose. Just turn up with a lot of
Yeah, they're
wine.
great cooks and great hosts. So they'll be, and the parents-in-law.
And the parents in
Oh yeah, that's true.
Wow.
But they're great cooks and really good hosts. And he'll probably just chuck up I keep thinking that he's going to have chucked up an extension. He's a doer. So, but anyway.
But you see, what's so interesting, you're doing all the cooking yourself. Katie sensibly had sort of delegated out to everybody. So we're all contributing a little of this, that and the other.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
But yeah,
I sort of
But
know
you
him
have
my
a
dad
really good-
poking around in the kitchen, to be honest. My dad's he's in more trouble than he's worth in that situation, isn't he? It's like, do that. It's
Yeah.
like, no,
you
just
shouldn't
sit
do it
there.
like that. Now, if I was you, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say to him, just bring your Kindle and sit on the sofa.
He's already been
Quiet.
briefed to not get involved.
We'll go out for a walk. We'll take the dog for a walk, and you can call in the pub, and you'll be fine. And
Yes, exactly.
other than that, just sit on your hands.
But did you guys then, when you were growing up, did you have like all the traditional food,
Yes.
like turkey
Yes, but
and things?
It's very interesting. Today, there's so much emphasis on food, generally in life.
Right.
And Christmas becomes such an absolute feast and an orgy, and we just have so much, it's actually unnecessary, I think.
Yes.
I mean, we had a wonderful Christmas, always with the children, and then it was over, and then we always had to watch the Queen, whether they wanted to or not. It was a sort of bit of digestion and downtime, and then it was mayhem. Presents were unwrapped.
That's almost child abuse, Mum, making us wait till 3.
Oh, that's dreadful to say that.
Terrible.
No, it's
We
called delaying gratification.
were
darling.
allowed our stockings, weren't we, in the morning?
Yes, so count blessings.
But it's true, food does seem to be, and it's just the amount of, there's just so, I mean, I suppose, again, from a nutrition point of view, telling people not to blow everything in 3 days. People work really hard on their health most of the time, a lot of people do, and then it just all goes up, as you say, they push the fuck it button, and they can undo a lot in a few days.
I like that expression, but it's quite surprising.
Yes, Granny. But it's true, you know, and I wondered if that was like, if Jane, do you remember it being so, I suppose it's just so much food and people
Greedy,
eating
really,
all
isn't
day. It's
it?
a bit gluttonous. It's a bit like
It is,
Gluttonous.
yes, because like you said, it's not
Horrible.
the norm. You don't eat like that normally. But we didn't. We had our Christmas lunch quite late, didn't we?
Probably because you were drinking
Yeah.
lots of Bucks Fizz,
No,
Mum.
no. As if, no. No, I think
As if she
by the
would.
time
We were.
because they opened their presents in the morning, so it took hours for that to happen, and then chilled, and so lunch was quite late, 3 or 4.
Yeah, we'd normally have a brunch, wouldn't we?
Yes,
Like Eggs Benedict or something.
Yes, yeah,
And then,
so yeah, before you knew it, it was bedtime.
Whoopee! Oh,
but there
how
was also
lovely.
sandwiches in the evening as well. There
Oh, that's
was
the thing,
quite a lot of food. Like,
Yes.
Big brother Andrew, he likes his turkey sandwiches. You know, I mean, you might as well have lunch all over again, but in a sandwich form.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
To be honest, I really used to enjoy a turkey sandwich.
Yes, the cold is often the better, isn't it? It's the pickings from the kitchen.
I always preferred Boxing Day because there was always so much food there. It was all cooked. It was there, and it was more or less
That's true.
help yourself and
Relaxed and
much
happy
more laid
and-
back.
Yeah, not a lot to do.
because traditionally, and it'd be great to hear both your perspectives on this, there wouldn't be the divvying up, would there, so much of the food cooking and the prep? It would be predominantly you
One
guys
person.
doing it, right?
I remember my mother cooking it. She really did get up early because we had an Arga and it wasn't necessarily that reliable. And it was one of these ones that you poured in the Coke from the top and you riddled it at the bottom to keep it going. And this huge, I mean, I was one of 4, and so there were 6 of us. And invariably, a person who was on their own, and or 2. So you had a variety of people around the table. But the turkey meant she got up at goodness knows what time to put it in the oven to cook. And being an Arga, it was quite constrained. So there was always quite a lot of language. And then it had to be put from the top oven to the bottom oven, and you had all the juices, and it was quite a business. And then you had to have enough heat for all the sprouts.
Yes. It's true. It sort of rested on one person, though, didn't it?
Oh, always. It was always Ma. There wasn't, I mean, because it was an Arga or a sort of an essay type thing, you didn't have a lot of different rings to cook pans on. You just had what you had.
But in terms of the volume, was it different then with you guys? Like in terms of like the amount of food that's consumed when you were...
Yes.
There weren't as
definitely.
many vegetables. I think
No.
Mum grew up on a farm, so what was it, you know...
whatever my grandfather grew, we ate, you know. So there was a lot of root vegetables because
Well, of
they
course,
were
'cause-
these.
but that's a wonderful Steiner philosophy. You eat according to the season, but the winter
Oh, definitely, yes.
is root vegetables.
Yeah, and we always had apples and pears because in the autumn they'd be
Picked and
prepared, and
stored.
they were they were always there. So
Oh, lovely.
But you were growing up with your grandparents in the house, weren't you? Because Mum sadly lost her dad quite young, didn't you?
I was
So
6.
yeah.
But my
So
my grandparents were they were there. Always they were just around the corner of the farm, so we lived between there and my mum's house. So, but Christmas time it was all in the farm. My poor grandmother, days before Christmas, she would just be in the what we call the far room with a huge fire, plucking the turkeys and chickens.
Oh, really?
Or things. She worked so hard. I remember her hands being red raw with the hot water, the feathers on the fire. I mean, it was really hard work for her.
Jane, was she plucking the chickens and the turkeys to sell the turkeys, or was it for...
Oh, they'd all been pre-ordered, yes.
They'd all been
yes.
pre-ordered, yeah, that's a lot of...
It's always fresh, isn't
Yeah.
it? It was always fresh back then. I don't think
Oh,
we
yes.
bought frozen turkeys.
Has it changed? So, for example, where you buy, you know, talking about buying, or you know, or eating local, or as you say, you used to grow your own. Has that changed? Where you buy food, what sort of food you buy? You know, because actually, you've always said to me that a Christmas dinner is actually just a roast. You know, it's actually not that. It doesn't have to be unhealthy.
Just an extended Sunday roast, really,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Crackers on the table and cranberry sauce and things like that.
Yeah.
Just
Just
adding
the
colour.
extras.
and nuts and dates and tangerines. There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Christmas.
I do love Christmas lunch. I love it. I like all the veg.
All of
We're
it.
not all of it. I'm trying to think what my
Stuffing? What about stuffing?
I like
Oh,
stuffing.
yes.
Yeah,
Do
but
you pre-cook your stuffing, or do you just stuff a turkey and eat the stuffing out at the end of your turkey?
oh, Mum.
I do both.
No, it's
Yeah,
delicious.
I put
It's delicious.
some in the turkey, in the carcass,
Yes,
and I
yes.
cook some separate as well, because you like the crunchy bits.
Yes,
But
yes,
yeah, I like the flavour through the turkey as well.
yes.
Do you make your own stuffing?
Well, it's quite easy, isn't it? You just sort of get
Yeah.
it and mash it about. And if you
Yes.
buy a packet as a base, you can add to that.
Well, I always cheated
Slight
at that.
cheat.
And the Sunday roast, I would use the packet and then add my bits and bobs to it. So
Oh, well, but there you are, you see.
In terms of like the Christmas, like the stolons and the mince pies and that sort of thing, honestly, I could take or leave that. It's not really my bag. I used to love, when we were kids, we used to get these, my granddad used to bring them back from Poland, and they were these honey biscuits, and they were
Cooking.
kind of a bit like that. Yeah.
What were
They
they?
tasted slightly different, but they were beautiful.
Cinnamon.
Pinishki, that's what they're called, pinishki. And they have a sort of an icing on them, and they were so
Yes.
nice,
they
weren't
were
they?
nice.
Do you remember
They
those?
were nice, yeah.
I used to
I
love
think they use
those.
quite a lot of cinnamon, actually, in
Yeah,
those coupons
tons.
and things. They're
Yeah.
very delicious. Yeah.
And it's interesting now, I live in Shepherd's Bush and Hammersmith, and there's a huge Polish community here. There's loads of Polish shops, so I have got some of
lovely.
those because I love
that's
those.
nice.
But other than that, I'm not really, not the sweet stuff. I actually like, I think a good quality roast, you can't really beat it actually. So I do love all that part of it. I do like Brussels sprouts, but not to the same degree as Rose does.
But that's supposed to be, I mean, they're our latest magic food, aren't they?
Well, you've been
Oh,
Yeah,
eating
they are.
Brussels
they
sprouts
were on the
forever.
radio yesterday. They were praising the battered, deep fried Brussels sprouts.
Oh, I love it. How can they?
Yeah.
No, but I haven't tried a deep fried Brussels
never
sprouts, and
heard
I
of
felt
that.
I
Yeah,
tried everything.
It must be from Scotland, because they do like the deep fried things.
Yeah.
Mars bars and the rest.
Our poor, like, beleaguered guts. Can you imagine that? A
I
deep
know.
fried sprout going in there. I mean, honestly.
I mean, I do
Yeah.
think, actually talking about the gut, when I'm thinking about food at Christmas, I just think about the fact that it's relentless. That's my biggest thing. And also my self-discipline. Yes, of course I have self-discipline, and it goes with what I do, but it's not that good. And Mum will say, when it's around, I'm like, pick, and then that leaves me feeling knackered. And actually, so if there was one thing that I could do for myself over Christmas, it would be to eat a meal and stop, and eat another meal and stop, even if those meals were big and like
Yes.
rich. I think for me, and I think for most people out there, actually, if you could stop in between meals instead of, because I graze, and that is what leaves me
But I
feeling
think
just awful. by the end of
that's
it.
Christmas, because we put everything out in bowls so it all looks pretty, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put nuts and dates and chocolates. Everyth's out to tempt.
Well, also it's not normally there,
No.
so I don't normally have things like that at home.
It is.
So
It's
that's-
kind of hard to have respite, isn't it?
Yeah.
With all the
Well, if you've
it's hard to
got
have
your
respite
treats.
on many levels. Like even with the stress of it all, from a gut perspective, I think you're definitely, because a lot of people feel more bloated and gassy and all that sexy stuff around Christmas, and I think it is a lot of it is to do with the load, but also eating foods that aren't part of our routine or eating more of them. So, like for instance, both you and I enjoy sweet foods, and you like your petrol station chocolate, and I'm a bit more snobby about that. But and we do have
I
that
know.
in
Do
our
you like
life,
your
but we're not
bars?
eating loads of it all the time. So I think it's also the load and not giving our gut any sort of respite at all. So that and then sitting down for long periods of time. So it's that on top of it, because normally we would be doing, and we might be moving around or exercising, but a lot of times around Christmas now, I think we tend to sort of sit down, don't we? And
But I used to insist we did charades.
oh yeah, we did have
Oh,
to do
did
that, which was
you?
always
Oh,
my mum's
yes.
obsessed with charades.
Oh, I still love
that's
it. I
so
love
good.
it.
Yeah.
A little dice came with the cracker.
Yeah,
Yes,
this
and you
bloody
throw-
dice used to come out. She used to be like, I've got the dice. And then we'd be like, all of us would just like run into other rooms because we hated charades.
She'd throw the dice, and it would be TV or cinema or something, and then you'd have to.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really good, but it took your mind off eating for a while
Yeah.
and drinking.
I think that's lovely.
True.
Christmas started when my grandmother arrived, and she invariably arrived with a homemade treacle tart on a sort of Pyrex plate. That was the sign that Christmas had begun. It was very delightful. It was delicious.
Because also, I suppose for you and me, but I see lots of people in January who feel like shit, and they're unmotivated, and they're annoyed with themselves, and they're cross with themselves, and they feel upset. Actually, never mind,
depressed.
But it's not just on Christmas itself, it's the build up to Christmas, isn't it? It's like from now on, or even earlier, with the Christmas parties or the excuse, let's go out for a Christmas drink. It starts there,
it's true.
and then it's just a slippery slope, isn't it? And then you've got the New Year straight after.
But you guys didn't do this. Why did you guys not do this to excess? What's the difference? Tell us the secret. Why were you guys not? Is it because it wasn't available?
You mean you guys? Our generation?
Yeah, your generation.
Yes,
because we just couldn't afford it. We didn't have booze like that in the house. I mean, it was a treat to have a glass of wine. We certainly didn't have 2 or 3. It really was very
all
different.
we had, was a bottle of sherry.
Yes, yes. Oh, I love sherry.
Get a bottle of sherry. Although there was always brandy available. The word was there, but it was usually medicinal. You'd have it if you had a cold.
I do think, and we've talked about this before, especially in the UK, it's very hard for people to go out and not drink. It's like they're almost seen as social pariahs to say, I'm not going to drink. So I guess we could be useful in helping people on how to kind of navigate that side of things, right? Because I'm sure you hear that in your practice as well,